Alright.
Welcome to Maia Geomancer build, you bird poop loving bastards. This one gave me a proper headache. I spent almost whole day yesterday dealing with this build. I just could not figure out how to make this all synchronize, the wizardry and Maia's passive. Maia's passive is an amazing one, which gives her chance to interrupt targets on hit, only if you use firearms. Blunderbuss has got 20% chance, while pistols and arquebus got 80% chance, which is huge, so you don't need concussive shot. You can go for it, but I wouldn't suggest. We are spread thin with points as it is. There are some really nice passives that you need in order for this to work. Honestly, if you went with Maia as a ranger, you would be far better off than with this setup here. But I'm stuck with it, so I figured this out. If she's got increased range with everything and she's got interrupt chance, then the best thing would be for her to be an absolute ranged enemies killer. Which means we are going to pick off mages and sharpshooters with ease. Our shitting bird will help with that because it's got some nice DPS bonuses that we will definitely use to our advantage. Plus I've added some long range wizard spells that would also help in the process. Cool thing about this whole setup is that we're gonna have all three types of damage. I have Greatsword as my backup, I have Arquebus as my main weapon, and Minoleta's missiles are usually crush damage. I understand that 2-weapon style is the worst style at the moment for DPS, but this is not only DPS, this is also utility thing. If you're far away from enemies, they will be, I believe, less likely to attack you. If they do attack you, no problem, your bird will come to the rescue, poop on their heads, knock them down, you're gonna have a damage boost, they're done in a matter of seconds. So here is the build. Because of the fact that she is a predefined character, we cannot change her attributes, and you can immediately see where her strengths lie, in high DPS. She's got lots of accuracy, solid action speed, and some boost to damage as well. Her passive grants her these two boosts. Increased range for firearms, and all firearms receive a chance to interrupt on hit, which is huge. This is why she's great against mage characters, and I would say it would be the biggest reason to wield dual pistols, just because of the fact that you will have a higher action speed, which means in turn more frequent attacks, which in turn means more chance to interrupt. This is what I'm using from wizard abilities. Merciless Gaze is a must, it converts some hits to crits, and it lasts for a long time, which means we don't have to have high intellect for that to be effective. Expose vulnerabilities, especially useful when enemies are bunched together and then you follow up with something like Minoleta's concussive missiles. It has a minor AoE range, but it can be very effective. Choose every type of Minoleta that's got a huge range. And for the end I've chosen this, Killing Bolt. This thing is very useful because it summons a spectre under your control if you kill an enemy with it. So you weaken an enemy a bit, then you finish them off with this. Then you have another summon next to your animal companion. So as you can see, my goal is to be effective at long range. This can be only done if I choose spells that have long range property to them. Plus, these Minoleta's missiles are very effective at single target damage. From the passives, things that you need are rapid casting, far casting, which I did not choose when I was testing this build. I fucked it up there. Combat focus you don't really need. You'll be out of range of everyone, so instead of combat focus I would go with far casting and rapid casting. From the ranger tree, this is what I'm using from active abilities. Get this, takedown combo. Takedown combo is an amazing DPS boost. It will increase damage taken by 100% for 10 seconds. That's huge. Upgraded mark is a must, so you don't constantly need to spam it on every single enemy. Concussive shot is not needed here. That's all from active abilities. From passive abilities, I went with Gunner, Marksman, I mean the obvious choices here, two-handed style. I've upgraded the animal to do plus 50% more damage to enemies with damage over time effect. Now I forgot to mention, yeah, go for accurate wounding shot because it puts damage over time on the enemy. It's not a long lasting damage over time, but it's enough for the bloody bird to get a couple of attacks in. What you can go here are also these two options. Plus 30% damage against sneak attack vulnerable targets. This is especially useful if someone goes at you. I mean, it's a rare situation where you're gonna have to deal with them. But when they do get to you and you summon your companion to attack them, they are gonna have flanked status, which means that your companion will do plus 30% damage. This is also an option, Vicious Companion. So these three upgrades are a great damage boost for the bloody bird. As for the other upgrades, I went with Survival of the Fittest, Improved Critical, because we get natural -2 criticals with Arquebus. So this is kind of a counter, especially if you have gloves or something that will increase crit damage even further. Driving Flight is one thing that I love a lot. Although I've read that people don't like this, I actually like it quite a lot. Usually ranged characters will stay close to each other, so you will do constant damage to one and the other. Uncanny Luck, 5% of hits converted to crits. Now you might probably think that crits are useless with Arquebus because it gives you -25% automatic deduction to crit damage, which is what crit damage is, plus 25%. But the thing is, you also get plus 50% penetration rating when you score a critical hit. That's why even with firearms this is very useful. And really that's it. The other option that you can get is Superior Camouflage plus 8 deflection against ranged attacks, but we are already spread too thin with points, so this is up to you, if you want to put it or not. As for gear, I suggest that you upgrade her shooter's garb. There are some nice bonuses, like low profile. If you increase her stealth skill, then deflection will rise against ranged weapons. This can be amazing. Return fire is also a nice upgrade, but first you need to miss, and you won't miss much. Torkar demonstration again. I know, you boring bastard. It's convenient, fuck it. Start the battle by putting Merciless Gaze on your arse and then deal with the bastards. Make your bird target one enemy with that knockdown and then you start DPSing that same enemy. They will have that plus 100% debuff for 10 seconds, which is plenty of time to use it. Obviously, if you wear dual pistols, you would be far more effective in it, but it is effective as is. Now I also put Wounding Shot on that same wolf that's already got a debuff, so that thing is full of debuffs already, because my pooping bird gets plus 50% damage while the bastard is wounded, and I also get plus 100% damage because it's just got knocked down by that skill. So the goal is to focus your bird and yourself on one target. Now this is how you deal with sharpshooters and mages. You simply focus them down with your bird and your ranged attack. Wait with missiles for now, if you won't use them, but I would leave the spells for other opponents depending on their resistances. Now that I've wounded this guy properly with the missiles, I'm gonna finish him off with the arrow. Obviously I'm way over these guys' level, so I'm gonna do much more damage than it would do in general, but you use it when they are close to death. That's the whole point. And now you have yourself a Spectre. Now you can focus one bastard with 3 attackers. Yourself, Spectre and the bloody bird. So again, put Mark of the Hunt on an enemy if it doesn't have one yet, and just focus them down. Go with the knockdown effect if you want, but now that you have 3 enemies against 1, you just gotta put Wounding Shot and your bird and Spectre will do the rest. If you want an overkill, go for that knockdown from the bird. Eventually enemies will become bunched up together, that's when you use expose vulnerabilities and then the missile at power level 4 that can do some minor AoE. If they are bunched up together, your shots with arquebus will bounce, so you will already do AoE damage. That will be the whole setup. I hope you liked the build. As I said, it's not some kind of an ultimate build where you're gonna dish out enormous amounts of damage, but you will be effective with this, especially from level 13 onwards. Your damage is still very good, even though we are not using dual pistols. That would be all. Thank you all for watching and see you soon.
Take him down.
I've got this, Captain. Right between the eyes. Ashisa, strike. See that, Ishi? Ha! Ha!